Greetings, this is Ashnook. After some time, I was able to procure a copy of the Simon Workshop tapes, where Simon gives a lecture about the Necronomicon at the Magic Child shop. This tape is extremely hard to come by, which is why I'm recording it for all of you. Specifically, it deals with two topics in depth, which Vader Nero and I have spent countless hours sending responses and replies to. That is, A, the Watcher, and B, the Gates of the Necronomicon. This tape goes into the details of both very much. So I hope you like it and enjoy listening. If you'll give me just a few moments to set the microphone, the tape will begin shortly.
Simon Says, Necronomicon, Side 1. Anyone considering becoming involved with the Necronomicon, that is to say, becoming involved in the occult practices which form the greater part of the Necronomicon, must first realize that this is, first of all, a work of ancient Sumerian religion. That is to say, these practices predate both Judaism and Christianity by thousands of years. The Neoplatonic veneer that some of the practices have should not distract you from the ultimate primitive quality of these rituals. The effect that some of these rituals have had on practitioners in the past, just in the past 5 years or so that the book has been available, has been similar to patients undergoing depth analysis, or something more like a Yanov-style primal scream therapy, or something like that, because practitioners of this art are taken back to the ultimate core of their emotional consciousness. They are brought into touch with beings and qualities they did not know they were composed of. These Sumerian deities have not been invoked in literally thousands of years, as far as we know. The words and phrases that are used here in the ancient Sumerian language have not been spoken by man, except for a handful of archaeologists and scholars, in nearly 6,000 years. So we're speaking about a very ancient and possibly a very potent form of ceremonial magic. Now there are a few details that we've received letters on concerning the Necronomicon that I'd like to make clear here while I can. One of them is the herb mentioned many times, or at least not many times, but once or twice in the book, but many times in our letters, that is called the grass Olearibus. Now this grass is really nothing more than the English herb nettle, Nettle. This grass or herb is available at most apothecary stores, herb stores, and like that. It also grows wild in Europe, in the North American continent, and in large portions of South America and the Middle East. So, nettle is the herb that's mentioned, and a word of warning: if you are burning this herb for use in any of the rituals, not to inhale the smoke too deeply, as nettle is an irritant and contains certain slight toxic properties. So to be very careful about burning the grass, and not to take too deep a breath of it as it is burning. Other points that have been brought up have been, is it possible to perform these rituals with another person? Must they be done by yourself? It's possible to perform the rituals of the Necronomicon with other people if they are very well disposed to what you're doing. You do not really require the presence of a complete skeptic or denigrator when you're performing these rituals, just as you wouldn't want a complete skeptic to sit in while you were undergoing any kind of psychoanalytic therapy or analysis. You need the complete cooperation and sympathy of another person if another person is to be present. That is not to say that if your personality begins to undergo very strange changes or bizarre abnormalities, that it would not be wise to listen to someone who is bringing these things to your attention. But during the actual course of the ritual itself, generally speaking, you should be alone. If you have someone else present, then they should also be, in a sense, initiates of the same mysteries. The seals for the ritual of the walking, which is the major initiatory framework of the Necronomicon, these should be on the ground or on the earth, preferably on the outside, in the out of doors. If this can't be done, then of course it can be done in an apartment or a house or a basement, let's say. But these should be drawn with flour. There are other substances mentioned in the Necronomicon which are also possible, but I think flour is the easiest to obtain, the easiest to wash away or get rid of after it's been used, and it's the easiest to draw the figures with. A suggestion might be to use a kind of funnel into which there is a small hole through which the flour can be poured. In this way you'll get a very nice, even, consistent, solid line that you can use to draw the sigil with. Now that we've gotten a few of those questions out of the way, I think we should go into the basic formula of the ceremony of the walking. You remember from reading the Necronomicon that there are certain preparatory rituals which must take place first. For instance, the idea of the watcher. Now, the watcher is not a unique kind of concept. Other religions and other occult practices have made use of something called a watcher or a guardian for many thousands of years. In this case, however, in the ancient Sumerian case, the watcher is a potentially hostile force in the sense that it has no morality. It serves only the master that feeds it. Should you, during the time that you're using the watcher, neglect care of the watcher, neglect the rituals important to maintaining the watcher, it could conceivably turn on you. Therefore, a word of advice, of course, is to follow the rituals concerning the watcher quite scrupulously.